난 가끔 비닐하우스를 태워요.
뭐라고요?
가끔 비닐하우스를 태운다고요. 난 비닐하우스를 태우는 취미가 있어요. 들판에 버려진 낡은 비닐하우스 하나를 골라 태우는 거예요. 2달에 한 번쯤?
Most of the time, we tend to forget just how free we are to make our own unique decisions in life. Much like the protagonist in Jean-Paul Sartre's novel The Age of Reason, we are condemned to carry with ourselves an overwhelming freedom. He was free, Sartre writes, free in every way, free to behave like a fool or a machine, free to accept, free to refuse, free to equivocate, to marry, to give up the game, to drag this death weight about with him for years to come. He could do what he liked, no one had the right to advise him, there would be for him no good or evil, unless he thought them into being. We are free to make the most bizarre of choices in life. We are free to burn down abandoned greenhouses as a hobby. In fact, we are free to acquire any hobby, however absurd it might be. We are free to do anything. When the narrator of Fyodor Dostoyevsky's novel Notes from the Underground suffers from a toothache and people tell him to go to the dentist, he decides to stay home and bear his pain. He observes that while it might seem reasonable to go to the dentist, he still has the freedom to reject reason and do whatever he likes. As a free being that makes its own choices and designs its own life, he doesn't have to succumb to any force, not societal pressure, nor the tyranny of reason. And him staying at home is proof of this immense freedom. In this freedom lies the inspiration to live an authentic life, one that does not conform to societal norms, but answers the call of our deepest aspirations. This feeling can be dizzying. In another novel of Dostoyevsky, Crime and Punishment, the protagonist exercises his freedom by committing a brutal murder. Later, he turns to the local authorities in repentance, for he realizes that freedom comes with great anxiety. If we can choose the life that we're living, then we have to also live with the decisions that we have made. As Sartre says, man is condemned to be free, because once thrown into the world, he is responsible for everything he does. Freedom is haunting. Fearing responsibility, most of us end up living a passive, conformist, comfortably numb existence in which we fail to commit to anything. We would rather have simple rules for life, guidelines and imperatives to blindly follow, not having to grapple with the never-ending uncertainty of life. Constantly new paths are opening up in life and we don't want to carry the responsibility of choosing. But if we want to live an authentic life, one true to what and who we are, we have to overcome this anxiety. Everything has been figured out, Sartre says, except how to live. One of my favorite moments in cinema tells the story of a heartbroken policeman awaiting his birthday. He roams around in neon-lit Hong Kong, reflecting on the passage of time and what it means to be 25 years old. Tomorrow he will have spent a quarter of a century on this earth. He has no girlfriend and no real friends, so with no expectations around him, he is truly free to invent, or rather reinvent himself in any way he pleases. He is young and full of energy, spending the night in a lively metropolis, which presents him with endless possibilities in which he can immediately exercise his freedom. The hopeless romantic that he is, he sits in a bar and makes a creative decision, that is, to fall in love with the first person that he will see enter the bar.
あのさ、パイナップル好き? Do you like pineapple?
With this decision, he accepts the responsibility of everything that is to follow, for it is a direct consequence of his will. When in the morning the time strikes the exact time of his birth, there seems to be some bittersweet sense of triumph as our protagonist finally climbs out of his malaise, and we can only imagine embarks onto a self-transformative journey.
如果一定要加一个日子的话，我希望它是1万年。
Things don't go as well for the protagonist of our next film, the 1964 masterpiece Woman in the Dunes, which tells the story of a Tokyo school teacher taking a trip to the countryside and finding himself trapped in a hut at the bottom of a sand dune. The villagers force him to indefinitely dig up sand that is threatening to swallow up the hut, which belongs to a lone woman. She has long since accepted her life in the sand dune and soon becomes the lover of our protagonist. He wants to escape, but in the meantime keeps himself occupied with little everyday tasks like digging, making love to the woman, and figuring out how to draw water from the damp sand at night. The woman gets pregnant, and as pregnancy bears complications, the villagers take her to the hospital, leaving the rope ladder down as they go, in the end finally giving the man an opportunity to escape, which he doesn't do, telling himself that he has still things to do around the hut and that he can always escape some other time, which makes it seem that our protagonist is not the type of person to realize his own freedom, take responsibility into his own hands, and lead an authentic life. Rather, he forsakes freedom in exchange for a comfortable, predictable life at the bottom of a sand dune. But our point is not to be the person at the bottom of a sand dune. In a word, man must create his own essence, Sartre says. It is in throwing himself into the world, suffering there, struggling there, that he gradually defines himself. Or in another quote, we are our choices. Our life is our own responsibility. It is only us ourselves that can make it into an authentic, exciting, meaningful existence. This will involve a difficult, self-transformative journey into the brink of anxiety and panic, for one thing that we must do in order to live an authentic life is to overcome our deepest fears. They are what is holding us captive in the comforts of a passive life, full of illusions. In the words of Martin Heidegger, anyone can achieve their fullest potential. Who we are might be predetermined, but the path we follow is always of our own choosing. We should never allow our fears or the expectations of others to set the frontiers of our destiny. Your destiny can't be changed, but it can be challenged. Every man is born as many men and dies as a single one. So be courageous. As we are addressed by Friedrich Nietzsche, he has heart who knows fear but vanquishes it, who sees the abyss but with pride. He who sees the abyss but with eagle's eyes, he who with eagle's talons grasps the abyss, he has courage. Let's make our life a worthwhile one. A difficult journey awaits us, but it is what we have to do to truly make our lives our own. Hey, it's Alyosha. Thank you for watching this video. I really appreciate all the support that's been coming my way in the last couple of days. It's been really wonderful. Thank you for sharing all the comments with your thoughts, ideas, recommendations. I really appreciate, and I hope you will stay for the ride. Thank you.